design guideline or design library, something that includes colors, text or typography in this case, fonts, various images, assets that can be used or replicated again and again, things like icons and illustrations. So such a design library can help us redesign our website or to add designs to our wireframes. In this case, AI comes to the rescue once again. So to begin with, of course, color palette would come to mind. That's one of the first things a lot of people look at. Of course, there are various ones here, but UX Pilot is one of the best out there. In this, you can even get gradients if you like, which we can work on later on. But for now, color palette is important. Now here, I want to put this same title, or you can copy the prompt from Gemini, it's up to you. And I just place it here, which is our prompt. There are some example prompts it's written so that you can get some idea of how a prompt can be written for this tool. Number of colors, of course, we can set to 4 or 5. Contrast information, there should be, that's great. And of course, we click on generate. Almost immediately, it's placed 4 colors right here, purple, orange, this nice little teal, as well as this bluish gray. Something that we can use together, something that we can use in contrast. And it's also given information like accessibility, where you can see what type of colors you can use over these colors, which is nice. You can even generate further shades, including linear and hue shifts from here itself, from the AI tool itself. And then of course, you can pick any color, pick color selection, and then click on generate. It will automatically add various shades of this very color that we had here right next to it. Now you have various shades of this color, which you can use when maybe you're designing a monochromatic color palette, or maybe you want to use multiple of these together in an illustration. Could be for anything. Another addition to this is for a lot of people who don't know how to set colors or color palettes, you can select a color and you can ask it to explain the color to you. Why this color has been chosen, how it can be used, what is the nature of this color. As you can see, it pastes a little note above this. The color this, whatever the name of the color is a deep rich shade of blue with a hint of purple. Represents sophistication, mystery, and creativity. In branding, it can convey a sense of luxury and exclusivity. In design, it can be used to add depth and opulence to the overall visual aesthetic. What a nice way to explain this. And this is something that you can use to further explain your designs to stakeholders, to your company, managers, etc. Now that we have a basic color palette, I would say, ready for us, we need to now look at typography. For that, there is a discovery tool. Of course, fonts is something that you need to discover, you need to experiment and try with. But in this case, there is something called Font Explore AI. This is something that uses the power of ChatGPT in the form of helping you understand what kind of fonts and typography you can be using with your project. Okay, so in this case, it is already describing how you should describe the font. You can always say minimal, calm, serene. So some words which were used throughout our website in its copy, on Relume, etc. We can then update our font. So if we already have a font in place, we can always select this and say update font. Of course, we can type in anything here. I'm going to type in serene. Okay, simple word. And if I click on update font, जब भी एक tool, popular tool आप use करो, there's some issue with it. Alternative use करना पड़ेगा. Now there is something called font suggestions, which can be alternated with Font Explore AI or AI powered font generator. 3 very good ones which you get on top of the list. Now we're going to be using a plugin called AI powered font generator. Again, you can type it in here in the resources panel and you'll get it. In this case, I want the body font size to be something like 40. So it now knows that this is going to be a display font or a title font. And of course, I can always say, or I can always describe this font just like it wants it to describe. So minimal, clean, calm. So 3 words that I've picked from whatever we were doing earlier, and I'm going to click on Ask AI. Okay, so for fonts, we want to actually go to a website since a lot of the plugins in Figma are very buggy and one day they'll work, the other day they won't. So in this case, you'll need something that you can trust a little more. In this case, we have monotype.com, and inside monotype.com, there is font pairing. Of course, you'll have all links listed here. But apart from that, in this case, we have a paragraph, which is a paragraph font or body font. This is a title font or display font. Now, we can always change the font based on a font name or something that they've already selected for us. Okay. Now, we can generate different pairs randomly from here, see what pairs have been generated before this, and even give it a rating. So if we don't like a font style or a pair, we can always say, hey, we don't like this. You can even swap the fonts between each other. So if you like something in display that is looking good, you can always select that. Now this is based on AI finding the best font pairs and seeing which two fonts work together well based on how much contrast there is between the fonts, whether it's readable or not, and a lot other factors and reasons are paired into it. You can even see if it is good for dark mode or light mode. All that is available here. Now in this case, we can always ask it for the font. It will direct you to the font. This case, it's cool that this one's a free font and you can get it with the free trial, things like that. Or you can find similar or same font on Google as well. However, once you have a set of fonts, you can always add them here. In this case, of course, it detected Gotham. So if you have Gotham, great. Otherwise, you can even use something like Gothic, which is somewhat similar. And you can always find alternatives and create like a little book of fonts. So you can have 2 different fonts used for different purposes.